Hello children and viewers. So now we are entering into the new lesson. So that is wave optics. So in the wave optics we are going to study some other properties of light. But in the ray optics, so we learned the reflection, refraction of light, and as well as different types of image formed by the mirrors, lenses and optical instrument. By considering the light will be travel in the form of straight line, in the form of the straight line path, and this straight line path is also called as ray of light, ray of light. And by assuming the light will be travel in the form of the straight line path or ray of light, we discussed about the reflection of light and refraction of light. But so in the wave optics we are going to study about the some other properties of the light by considering the light will be travel in the form of the wave. The light will be travel in the form of the wave. The nothing but the study of the properties of the light by considering the light is travel in the form of the wave will be called as the wave optics. But the first scientist who assumed the light will be travel in the form of wave is Huygens. So that's why the Huygens wave theory is the first wave theory. The Huygens wave theory is the first wave theory. So now I am going to explain about the Huygens wave theory. So Huygens wave theory. So according to Huygens wave theory, every source of the light can be emit the light in the form of the waves in all directions. So that is the first postulate of the Huygens wave theory. So what is the first postulate? Every source of light emits the light in the form of waves, in all directions, So this is the first assumption of Huygens wave theory. Okay, he assumed that the light will be travel in the form of the waves in the all directions, and also he said that waves are the mechanical waves. So when the waves are the mechanical waves, so to travel the mechanical waves, the medium is required. So that's why he assumed a medium. So that medium is present everywhere in the universe. So that medium is nothing but the ether medium. So the second postulate of the Huygens wave theory is nothing but, so these waves are mechanical waves. These waves are the mechanical waves traveling. These are the mechanical waves, so traveling in a hypothetical medium called ether. So called ether. So he named that medium as the ether. So and he also assumed that the ether will be present everywhere in the universe. And he also says that so the ether medium is a isotropic homogeneous medium, or a homogeneous isotropic medium. It has a high elasticity property and low density. So ether medium is nothing but the ether is homogeneous isotropic medium having high elasticity and low density. And he assumed that the ether is isotropic medium and having the high elasticity and low density. So due to this, when the wave is traveling through medium, so it will be travel with great speed, because the velocity of the wave formula is v equal to square root of E by d. D is nothing but density, E is the nothing but elastic constant of the medium. So that's why the velocity will be dependent upon the elastic constant of the medium and density of the medium. So due to that, he assumed that it has high elasticity. When it has high elasticity, velocity is also high. So when it is a low density is nothing but velocities and density are inversely proportional. So if it is the low density, then only it can be travel with the high speed. So due to that reason, he assumed that medium has the high velocity and low density, and as well as to explain the reflection, refraction and interference, and he also constructed the wavefront, and nothing but this eigenvalue will depend upon the construction of wavefront. So this theory depends on construction of wavefront. So how we construct the wavefront, then we are going to discuss in the Huygens principle later. So this theorem, it depends upon what? Construction of wavefront, and nothing but by constructing the wavefront, he successfully explains laws of reflection, and second one is the laws of refraction, and the third one is the interference. And fourth one is the diffraction. So by using these postulates and by constructing the wavefront, so he successfully explained the laws of reflection, laws of refraction, interference and diffraction, but he can't explain the polarization, and he fails to explain the polarization. He can't explain the polarization property, but he can explain these four properties by constructing the wavefront. So next I am going to explain the what is wavefront and what are the different types of the wavefronts explained by this Huygens. So wavefront is nothing but it is the locus of all the vibrating particles. That is nothing but when the wave is traveling through medium, all the particles of the mediums are vibrate. So the wave is nothing but the disturbance. When the disturbance is traveling through medium, what happened? All the particles of the medium will be vibrate. So due to that, the displacement as well as the phase will be changes. But the wavefront is nothing but, next I am explaining about wavefront. So wavefront and types of wavefront. So wavefront is nothing but wavefront is nothing but locus. It is a mathematical term, locus. So locus of all vibrating particles, of medium which are in same phase. Vibrating particles of medium, so which are in same phase, So what is the wavefront? Wavefront is nothing but locus of all vibrating particles of medium which are in the same phase. So to understand the wavefront, let us consider, so this is a place of steady water. Imagine, so this is a place of a steady water. So in the steady water, so when you drop the stone here, what happened? So that medium will be disturbed, and nothing but the disturbance is called what? Wave. And nothing but this is the point where the stone is dropped. So from this point, what happened? The disturbance of the waves will be spread out. In all directions. Now this is the point where the stone is dropped. So due to that, here the disturbance is created. So that's why the disturbances can be traveled in the all directions. Not only in one direction. So it can be traveled in all directions. When the disturbance is travelling in the all directions, disturbance is nothing but energy. So this is energy travelling in the all directions. When the energy will be travelling in the all directions, so what happened here? So now the disturbance can be reaches these particles. Now consider these are the particles of the medium. So this is consider these are the particles of the medium. So now consider this is the particle A. So this is the particle A, and this is the B, and this is the C, D, E, F, G. Now these are the particles of the disturbance of the medium. So now what is happening? This is the disturbance is created at this point. Now this disturbance will be reaches this particle A, B, C, D at the same time. And as well as it travels the same distance when it reaches to X, and as well as D, and as well as here C. Now consider this is a D, this is E, and this is the F, G, H. Now when this disturbance produced at this point, so it will be reaches all these A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H particles at the same time. And again when this disturbance will be reaches to these all the particles, it will be travel the same distance. The distance will be considered the X. That's why, so they all will be undergo the same phase. All the particles will be undergo the same phase. So due to that you get a shape. So that shape will be look like a spherical shape, but actually it is a two-dimensional. It will look like a two-dimensional, but it is actually in a three-dimensional spherical shape. And nothing but if you consider this a point here, the disturbance is created. So the disturbance travel in the upward direction, downward, and all the direction. So due to that, all the particles, so which are in the same phase, will be look like a spherical shape if the source of light is in point size. So that's why what is happening, these are the particles A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. So all the particles will be what happened, vibrate at the same time, and due to that they have the same phase. So these are disturbance is nothing but wave. So what is the wave equation? Y equal to A sin omega t plus or minus kx. But in this wave equation, so these terms represent the phase. So that's the phase of every particle. The phase of every particle depend upon the time and as well as x. So the x is nothing but, so here x is nothing but, the disturbance traveled by the wave, or the disturbance traveled by the energy. Here x is nothing but what? X is the distance traveled by the wave. And here t is nothing but what? Time. So that's why when the disturbance is created, what happened? All the particles are vibrated at the same time, and as well as this disturbance will be reaches all the particle in the same time, and when the disturbance will be reaches all the particle travel the same distance. So that's why the particle A has the phase omega t plus or minus kx, and B is also have the same phase, that is omega t plus or minus kx, and as well as all the remaining particle. Finally, the H is also have the same phase. So that's why these are all the particle which are in the same phase. So that's why the locus of all the particles, all the vibrating particles of the medium which are in the same phase will be called as what? Locus. Okay. So the wavefront is created. So when the wavefront is created, so what happened? It will be propagate in the forward direction. So when the wavefront is propagate in the forward direction, it can move with some speed or velocity. So that will be called as the speed of the wavefront. Okay, disturbance is created. So all the particles are okay in the same phase. The locus of all the vibrating particles are called as a wavefront. So when the wavefront is created, what happened? It can be propagate. When it is propagating, it can move with some speed. So that speed will be called as the speed of the wavefront. And as well as, okay, the wavefront is created. Even though the wavefront is created, what is happening? The disturbance will be produced here. What happened? So it will be traveling in a particular direction. These are called the direction of propagation of energy. So these are the direction of the propagation of energy. Or so this is the direction of, if you take the light ray direction, so this is the light ray direction. So when the light is coming from the source of the light, if you consider the source of the light, so from the source of the light, so the light will comes in this direction. So that's why this direction is called the direction of propagation of energy, or the direction of propagation of light, or it may be taken as, if it taken as the incident ray, this is the incident ray direction. So that's why the propagation of energy is always perpendicular to the wavefront, and this is the direction of propagation of energy. So the direction of propagation of energy will be perpendicular to the wavefront at any point. So if I take here this point, so this is the direction of propagation of energy, and it will be perpendicular to at this point on the wavefront. and this is the direction of propagation of energy or direction of propagation of disturbance or direction of propagation of light. So now at this point on the wavefront, so the direction of propagation of energy will be perpendicular to the wavefront. So what is the important point here? So the important point is nothing but, so the direction of energy, or the direction of propagation of energy, the direction of propagation of energy, the direction of propagation of energy is, so the direction of propagation of energy also called as what? So light direction or incident ray light direction is perpendicular to whom? Wavefront. Perpendicular to wavefront at any point. So this is about the wavefront. And next I am going to explain about the types of wavefront. So there are, the Huygens will be explained about the three types of wavefront. So they are the spherical wavefront, and next one is the plane wavefront, and the next one is the cylindrical wavefront. So there are the three types of wavefront will be exist. The first one is the spherical wavefront. And second one is the plane wavefront. And the third one is the cylindrical wavefront. So how many types of wavefronts are exist? Three types. So when the spherical wavefront is produced, so that is nothing but if I take a point source of light. So now imagine this is a point source of light. So when it is a point source of light, what happens? It can emit the light or it can be emit the energy in the all direction. So due to that, so now you get a wavefront. So the wavefront shape will be in the spherical shape. It is not a circular shape. It is a spherical shape. So because all the particles here, these are all the particles will be disturbed at the same time, and as well as they are in the same phase. That's why the locus of all the particles which are disturbed at the same time and as well as which are in the same will be called as the what? Wavefront, and this is the distance traveled by the wave, that is considered x. And now consider this is also the particle which are disturbed at the same time, and this is also the another wavefront for this source of light, point source of light. But if we consider this x1 and this is x2, but these are the particles, this particle and nothing but the particle which are in this wavefront time, the particle which are in this wavefront is not in the same phase, because here x1 and x2 are the different. That's why this is the first wavefront and this is the second wavefront. So these two wavefront does not have the same phase. The particle which are on these two wavefronts does not have the same phase. So this is about the spherical wavefront, and nothing but who will be give the spherical wavefront? So the point source of the light will be gives the spherical wavefront. And next coming to the plane wavefront. So for example, let us consider this is the sun place and this is the earth place. So now the sun is a source of light which is in the point size when we look from the earth. So that's why it produces the what? Spherical wavefront. It will produce the spherical wavefront. But when the spherical wavefronts are approaches to this earth, so what happened? So when the spherical wavefronts are approaches to earth, what is happening here? Only the part of the light, only the part of the wavefront. This is a part of the wavefront. This is a part of the wavefront is incidenting on the earth. So due to that, so this part of the wavefront can be taken as So like this is a part of the wavefront. This is a part of the spherical wavefront incidenting on the earth. So it will be look like a plane. It will be look like a plane. So that's why this is called as the plane wavefront. Plane wavefront. So why this is called the plane wavefront? Because when the light is coming from the sun, so the rays which are coming from the sun will be how they are. So they will be look like a parallel to each other. So this is the direction of propagation of the light, which is coming from the sun. So that's why when the light is coming from the infinity object, if the light is coming from a infinity object, and nothing but if the light is coming from the infinity, when the light is coming from the source of light which is at infinity distance, and nothing but if the source of the light is at infinity distance, so what happened? So now the light which are coming from the infinity source of light will be what happened? The rays are parallel to each other, and nothing but this is the direction of propagation of energy. But in a wavefront, the direction of propagation of energy is always what happened? Perpendicular to the wavefront. So that's why if I draw the wavefront, so perpendicular to the propagation of energy, so you get the plane wavefront. So that's why this is a plane wavefront. When we get the plane wavefront, so when the source of the light is at infinity. And next coming to the, if the source of the light is extended, and nothing but if we take the extended source of light, so like a tube light or a slit which is illuminated by the light. So the example for the extended source of light. Extended source of light In case of the extended source of light, so what happening? So the light will be emits in all direction. So what is the example for the extended source of light? The extended source of the light will be the tube light, and as well as the slit illuminated with the light can be taken as extended source of light. So if this is extended source of light, so now for example consider, so this is the extended source of light. For example consider this is the marker. So from this marker what happened? The light will be comes out in all directions. When the light will be coming in the all directions, so these are the propagation of energy of the light. This is the direction of propagation of energy of the light. So that's why if I consider the wavefront, so the wavefront will be look like a cylindrical shape. So now this is the propagation of direction of energy, and so this is a wavefront. How the wavefront? The wavefront will be perpendicular to the direction of propagation of energy. So in this direction is also the light energy will be comes outside, and again so how it will be? It will be perpendicular to the direction of propagation of energy. So this plane, the circular plane. So that's how many types of wavefronts are exist. So there exist three types. One is the spherical wavefront, and second one is the plane wavefront, and third one is the cylindrical wavefront. Huygens principle is nothing but it is a technique constructing of wavefront geometrically. So that the importance of the Huygens principle is nothing but if we know the present position of the wavefront, so after some time t, so we can guess what is the position of the new wavefront. What is the importance of the Huygens principle? If we know the present position of the wavefront, so after some time t, so what is its position? What is its new position? What is its new position of the wavefront? So we can guess by using the Huygens principle. So the Huygens principle, in the Huygens principle, so the important points are, so the first one, so every point on the wavefront will be a source of secondary disturbances. So what is the important point in the Huygens principle? The first important point is, so every point on the wavefront, is a source of every point on the wavefront is a source of secondary disturbances. secondary disturbances. So who can produce their own waves? So the secondary disturbances also can produce the waves. So that's why what is important? What is the important first point on the Huygens principle? Every point on the wavefront is a source of secondary disturbances. So who can produce their own waves? So these waves are called the secondary wavelets. So the waves produced by the secondary disturbance or secondary sources, they are also called as secondary sources. Secondary disturbances. So the waves produced by the secondary disturbances are called secondary wavelets. And these secondary wavelets also travel with the same speed of the wavefront. So the third point is the secondary wavelets. The secondary wavelets also travel with the same speed of wavefront. This is the third point in the Huygens principle. Okay. So the secondary wavelets are produced and they are also traveling with the same speed. So if I draw a common tangent to all the secondary wavelet, then that gives the new wavefront. So what is the last important point in the Huygens principle? So if we draw a common tangent to all secondary wavelets, so that is new wavefront. So in this way we can construct the new wavefront by using the Huygens principle. So what are the important points in the Huygens principle? So every point on the wavefront is a source of the secondary disturbance. So who can produce their own waves, and these waves produced by the secondary disturbance is called the secondary wavelets. The secondary wavelets is also travel with the same speed of the wavefront, and if we draw a common tangent to all the secondary wavelet, so that can be gives the new wavefront. So next, by using this Huygens principle, now I am going to construct a new wavefront. So for the spherical wavefront as well as for the plane wavefront. So now consider, so this is a point source of light. So when it is a point source of light, what happened? Now it can be gives the spherical wavefront. So this is a spherical wavefront. So this is what it is. It is a spherical wavefront. So produced by this one is called what? Primary source. Actually, this is a primary source. So what the source of light, that will be called as what the source of light we are taking. So that is called as the primary source of light. So this primary source of light can be gives a spherical wavefront. Now, but according to Huygens principle, every point on the wavefront is a source of secondary disturbances. So that's why I am taking 3 points. Only I am taking the 3 points. So this is the first point A, and this is the B, and this is the C. Now consider this is the B and this is the C. So now these A, B, C are called what? Secondary disturbances. A, B, C are called what? Secondary disturbances. A, B and C are called what? Secondary disturbances. Okay. If they are act as secondary disturbances, what happened? They can also produce their own waves. And that waves are called what? Secondary wavelets. So that secondary wavelets also travel with the same speed of wavefront. For example, if we consider the speed of wavefront is V. In the same way, so that secondary disturbance, nothing but the secondary wavelet which is produced from this ABC also. For example, consider this is secondary disturbances. So produced from this A, B, C. Sorry, these are the secondary wavelets. These are the secondary wavelets. These are the secondary wavelets produced from the whom? Produced from the secondary disturbances. So now they also travel with the same speed. So when they are also traveling with the same speed, so now I want to find the what is the new wavefront. So after time t, capital T. Now this is the wavefront. Consider when time t equal to 0. This is the wavefront when time t equal to 0. But I want to find the new wavefront after time t. So how I can construct? With the help of this Huygens principle. So but if the secondary wavelet produced from the AB is also moving with the same speed of the wavefront in time t, so how much distance they travel? So the distance traveled is nothing but, so what is the formula for distance? Distance is nothing but the speed into time under V into t. Now this is the distance traveled by the whom? The secondary wavelet produced from the ABC. How much distance they travel? Vt. So that's why by taking this Vt distance, these are the distances traveled by the secondary wavelet. These are distance traveled by the secondary wavelet in how much time? In time t. So by taking this distance as the radius, so when I draw the spheres, so you get the spheres. By taking this radius, so when I draw the spheres, you get the spheres. So these spheres are called what? Secondary wavelets. So these are the secondary wavelets. After how much time? After time t. So that's why if I draw the common tangent, this is a common tangent drawn to the secondary wavelet. So this is a common tangent drawn to the secondary wavelet. So now this common the common tangent drawn to the secondary wavelet will be called as our new wavefront. After how much time? After time t. Now this is the wavefront when time t equal to 0. This is the wavefront after time t. So if I take all the particles in the initial wavefront, now you get this is our new wavefront. So in this way, by using Huygens principle, we can construct the new wavefront. So next I am going to how we can construct the new wavefront for the plane wavefront. Now consider this is the plane wavefront. But according to Huygens principle, every point on the wavefront is a source of secondary disturbance. So that's why I am taking the 3 points on the primary wavefront. This is called the primary wavefront. So this is a primary wavefront. So which is produced by the source of light. So these are which wavefront? Plane wavefront. On the plane wavefront, I am taking ABC 3 points. So this ABC can be act as what? This ABC, every point on the wavefront is a source of the secondary disturbance. And nothing but, so they can produce the secondary disturbances. The second disturbance is also traveling in the direction of the wavefront. With what? With the speed v. Okay, when they are traveling with the speed v, these are the secondary wavelets. So in time t, they cover how much distance? Vt. Now consider this is the Vt distance covered by the secondary wavelets in how much time? T. These are Vt distance. Traveled by whom? Traveled by the secondary wavelets. So that's why by taking this distance as a radius, so when I draw the sphere, so you get the secondary wavelets. When I draw the spheres, you get the secondary wavelets. So if a common tangent is drawn, all the secondary wavelets, then that common tangent will be our new wavefront. So that is also what? Plane wavefront. So this is our new wavefront. So after how much time? After time t. So in this way we can construct the new wavefront. So this is a very important technique. So to explain the laws of reflection and laws of refraction by using Huygens principle.